gentlemen, we are the Millie Goats. I am AK. We are back with another instant recap podcast episode where we are trying to do as much football as humanly possible because we love football and we missed football and it was gone and we really needed it. So we had the Washington Commanders versus the Green Bay Packers tonight. And if you're a Packers fan, you're feeling yourself. You are absolutely feeling yourself. That game was very, very interesting, to say the least, watching that game. And the reason I say that is just because it felt like the Packers were just absolutely housing the Commanders all night. And the score did not indicate that because in the fourth quarter, it was a one possession. Was it a one possession game at one point? Yeah, it was 10-17 at one point. So it was just one of those things where it's like the score does not indicate how this game has played out. The Commanders looked inept on offense. We had the before the game, right? That's how we look. We got the notepad, right? We always got the notepad. Every time I sit down to watch football, I write notes. I don't know if other people do that, but I love it. Like when I go to sit in front of this mic, I want to make sure that I got the full account of what happened, and some hot takes, of course, per usual. But Packers win 27-18. Like I said, it was pretty much the first half was just dominated by the Packers. Jordan Love threw for like 215 yards in the first half, which is the best he's ever done. And then they just kind of, I mean, it felt like the Packers had control. It's just Washington couldn't get anything going all night. Terry McLaurin wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. Zach Ertz had a pretty good game. Debo had a touchdown late. Austin Eckler got hurt. But let's just start at the beginning and kind of work our way through this game. My first couple of takeaways. Let me do 3 takeaways that I had written down. Number 1, the defensive coordinator for the Packers that came over from Boston College, Jeff Hafley, absolute stud. That guy has changed. Hey, that's a culture guy. You know what? That's what they say whenever they're going to change a culture. That Jeff Hafley dude he's got him. If he's not, I don't know if he wants, if this is going to be a Andy Reid kind of Spagnuolo deal where if LaFleur and Hafley are going to stay together forever. I don't know if he wants to be a head coach in the NFL, but he's probably going to get some calls after this. Second thing is Micah Parsons when he wants to be that dude, he can be that dude. That was evident late in the game whenever the Commanders actually had a chance, and he blew up a play. I think it was the first play of the fourth quarter. He just absolutely smoked the right tackle. And then the fourth thing was the Packers the third thing was the Packers have a very creative run game when they need to. Very Shanahan-esque. Sorry about the revenge game for the Commanders and the coach's picture, McVay, Shanahan, LaFleur, all those guys and the same coaching staff in Washington. So those are like the top 3 takeaways. Let's start at the beginning. For those of you who maybe didn't see the entire game or didn't have time to, if you're checking out the podcast, we appreciate you checking out the podcast. Every thumbs up, every 5-star rating, every subscription, every review, all those things help us. We have seen a pretty good jump in the numbers recently on the podcast. Triple digits, new listeners this past week. That's been happening every couple of weeks, or for the past few weeks, which is kind of cool. So we just want to say thank you to that. But and you know what? If I'm here, we film in front of a live virtual audience on the internet. It's B. McCormick. He's always here. So shout out B. McCormick for being in here. No Purdy slander. That's exactly right. So let's start from the top here. We open the game. I'm going to tell you right now. First thing I wrote in my notebook. I don't know what I would power rank as the best national anthem instrument, but it is tough to beat a trumpet. A trumpet blaring the national anthem is pretty cool. I thought to myself, the other one that really sticks out is the guitar, the electric guitar, just a straight up electric guitar on the national anthem. Absolutely phenomenal. the AFC Championship a few years ago when that little kid came out and played the electric guitar national anthem. I still watch that thing to this day, but a trumpet's pretty good. A trumpet is classic. So if I was power ranking, I'd probably go electric guitar, then the trumpet, then the piano, and I think there's got to be another one that I'm missing. Maybe, but anyways, so that was the first thing. Then they pan the crowd. It's 9/11. Thoughts and prayers to everybody. Never forget 9/11. I still remember where I was that day. Crazy how when stuff like that happens, you absolutely remember where you were. I was in health class. That was 24 years ago. It was crazy. I remember exactly where I was. I could go right back to the spot. So they pan to the crowd. They've got the signs. There's one that says United. It was, just American as it can get. And then they do the shot of New York City where the Twin Tower Memorial is shooting straight up in the sky. That was cool. So shout out to Green Bay, shout out to Prime for setting that up. And then we get, the whiteout, which I was a little skeptical of. I did a little short video. It's September in Green Bay. Like the whiteout should be for whatever it's December. I thought, and there was a stat that came out that had the drunkest cities in America, which I think 6 out of the top 10 were in Wisconsin. So ironically, they had a whiteout game for the jerseys and all the fans, and people were probably getting blackout drunk. So that's not good, but funny optics. So I'm getting updates from Next Gen Stats here that are pretty crazy. They said Washington Commanders had 2 explosive plays on 65 total plays for a 3.1% explosive play rate. So stuff's piling in on how abysmal the Washington offense was. But anyways, so we'll pull up all the Next Gen Stats here in a second, where we just go rattle off some awesome stats that people will they come up with. So, but anyways, so we had that to start it off, and we'll go over these Next Gen Stats here in a minute. But we're going to spend about another 15 to 20 minutes because I got to go to work tomorrow. But I was not about to miss our post-game recap show. So we get the first quarter, right? We get the first quarter. Jayden Reed gets hurt. Also, before we start, Washington, to note, has the oldest roster in the NFL, and Green Bay has the youngest. That was a cool stat. That's if you're in the NFC North or you're a Packers fan, if you're in the NFC North and you see the Packers come with that young roster, they had timely play calling tonight. They were very efficient about getting the job done when they needed to, the Packers. And I hate saying that. I'm a 49ers fan, so I don't like heaping praise on the Packers. We talked last night about how is Jordan Love going to show us something, in some of these big games. And he was good tonight. I have to give him credit. Like, if we're going to sit here and criticize him, but I don't know about those white uniforms either. I'm sitting here watching the replays. Green Bay's they're too traditional. They got to have the yellow helmet. I'm sorry. But the first quarter, Jayden Reed got hurt. Like, first catch he had, I think he broke his collarbone. Jordan Love missed a throw in the first quarter to Matthew Golden, a seam route that was late and inside, and the DB was able to break it up. And I kind of gave him a shot on Twitter, but you got to make that throw for Jordan Love. Also, Jordan Love in the first quarter, and this is something every time they pan out, they do from the goalpost cam on Jordan Love. That dude licks his lips like he's LL Cool J back there. It's unbelievable. He does it while he's kind of scanning the defense. He licks his lips, like in The Office whenever they need a code, where they, I think it was Dwight and Michael, whenever they needed a code to get out of that small paper company that they were trying to get. But the Green Bay Packers are good, dude. Their defense is, again, if the offense does not turn the ball over, I'm a little worried that they could not put the nail in the coffin earlier. They kind of let Washington hang around. But also in the first quarter, Jordan Love had that run to the right side going into the red zone where he had to put his shoulder down, and people are, calling that that's what Mahomes did. No, Jordan Love never made it look like he was going to run out of bounds, and he doesn't really ever tiptoe out of bounds. Like Patrick Mahomes knows exactly what he's doing. You can hate Patrick Mahomes all you want, but he knew exactly what he was doing. And that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's just don't get upset whenever you get blasted. But Jordan Love put his shoulder down and ran right through a DB in the first quarter. And then they got into the goal line on that same drive, and the Packers ran an unbalanced look to the left where they had the heavy boys all to the left, tackle over, I think 2 tight ends on the left. And then they had man-to-man on the back with Romeo Doubs, and the front side backer obviously was going to play the run, and that sucked him in. So they had a wide open slant, Romeo Doubs house call. Packers up 7-0. The Washington Commanders in the first quarter had 11 yards. 11 yards total. So that's terrible. In the second quarter, we had that awesome catch from Heath down the sideline, which was ruled initially an incomplete pass. And then they had to review it, and it ended up being a complete pass. And it was, the next gen stats on that one were, I don't even remember what it was. Oh, there it is. It was the 37-yard pass to Malik Heath had a completion probability of 7.9%, the third most improbable completion in the NFL since 2018. It went 51 yards in the air. He had 1.5 yards of separation, and then the sideline distance, it was right on there. It was a cool play. I love watching just awesome plays. So, Tucker Kraft also in the first quarter had a massive play. He had it was like a 50-yard catch. Last season, he gained the 5th most yards after the catch, 481, and 2nd most yards after catch expected, plus 132 among tight ends. So Tucker Kraft is a specimen out of South Dakota State. He's well put together, dude. He looks like a complete, I don't know what he looks like when he runs. He almost like Isaiah Pacheco when he runs, with his arms flailing everywhere and his knees real high. Like, he doesn't get to top speed very well, but he is an absolute load. But yeah, he had a huge half. We had the Packers had 2 drives that were 90 plus yards. In the second quarter, they capped off a 92-yard drive with a Josh Jacobs touchdown. He's probably having the time of his life, folks. That guy, to come over from the Raiders and then get put on this team with the youngest roster in the NFL and probably the best defense now. I mean, those DBs I got to say, the DBs for the Green Bay Packers, you can't tell them nothing. Those guys are playing as aggressive as they possibly can because you have 0 seconds with Rashawn Gary, the 2 linebackers, Quay Johnson, is it Quay? I don't know, something Quay. And what's the other guy from Texas A&M? I can't remember what his name is, but good gosh, it's going to drive me up this. Now I'm going to have to look it up. Edgerrin Cooper, that's the guy. Yes, and I think they have Isaiah Simmons out there. No, but Edgerrin Cooper and Quay, those guys, they're playing some ball. I mean, if when you have that defensive front, like the pressure that takes off the rest of the defense to be able to get to the quarterback with 4 is insane. Like, the DBs for the Packers, like, they're decent, but you could tell that they were just licking their chops, and there was no separation for the Commanders. Like, Terry McLaurin was not hardly open at all. Noah Brown either. Deebo Samuel couldn't get separation. Like, Zach Ertz was the only guy that posed a threat, and he's 38. He's 30-something years old. So when you have to respect that pass rush and get the ball out, DBs are going to play all up on you. That's just the way it goes. So let me bring up the screen here. What a game. I mean, it's just so great to have football back, guys. Like, it's just 27-18 Packers over the Commanders. Love, like I said earlier, he had 214 yards in the first half. That was a career high. So, finished with 292. So really, that's what it was so weird, man. Like, they shut it down. It was so weird. Like, the Packers were never not in control, but they couldn't, I guess because they're such a young team, they couldn't deliver the knockout blow. So we start the third quarter. Deebo Samuel has a huge kick return, right? Which absolutely leads to nothing, because Matt Gay missed a kick. Speaking of kicks, there was doinks everywhere, balls clanging off the uprights between Matt Gay and McManus. He missed. That was his. Gay missed his second one on the opening drive in the first half, and I just started chuckling because I don't know if people remember this, but Deebo Samuel let Jake Moody have it last year for missing kicks in the season. My first thought was, if Matt Gay is not careful, Deebo Samuel's about to let this dude have it for sure. So the third quarter was, I mean, I didn't really see anything that was very eventful. You know what I'm saying? Let's go down to the third quarter here. Like, there was a missed field goal, and then the Packers got a field goal to go up 17-3, and then a punt and a punt. So, I mean, yeah, the Packers basically, that was such a weird quarter. Like, nothing happened. They were up 14-3 and then 17-3, and that's how the end of the third quarter ended. But it was basically a 7-play drive with a missed field goal from the Commanders, a 10-play drive with a field goal made for the Packers, and then 3 minutes of drives combined for the next two. So there were only 4 drives in the fourth quarter. What a weird quarter, huh? It's crazy. So anyways, so that ends 17-3. We get to the fourth quarter. That was what I was saying. The fourth quarter, the first play of the fourth quarter, Micah Parsons made the right tackle look like it was the amount of space he eats up with his first step is absolutely insane. That was crazy. And then we had the Ertz touchdown. That capped off an 11-play, 50-yard drive. And then this is when, okay, we're like, all right, is Jordan Love or the Packers or these guys the dudes? The next drive, they went on a 9-play, 65-yard, almost 5-minute drive to score a touchdown. But that was helped out by 2 pretty big defensive. I think there was 1 defensive holding and defensive pass interference. So, but they ended up, it was a touchdown to Kraft, of course. I have to shout out LaFleur on that drive at the very end, because he was in his bag with the running game. He had Savion, what's-his-face, carrying the football. They put Matthew Golden in the back, some pop passes to Matthew Golden and stuff like that. Like, they were running laterally. They were stretching the field with the run game. Then they would go at you with Josh Jacobs. So LaFleur was on one there. I mean, this is, if Matt LaFleur doesn't get it done, is he on? I'm not going to say he's on the hot seat, but if he can't get it done with this roster, like, provided the health stays where it is, then you got to ask some questions. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, taking a drink there, but so anyways, then the Commanders turn over on downs. Packers get it back. That was kind of the last gasp. They kicked a field goal, and then we had some late garbage time touchdown by Deebo. And then they punted it and missed the onside kick, or got it back, and then went 6 plays for basically nothing. And in the midst of that, Austin Eckler blew his Achilles out. So that's kind of the game flow of how things went. Hate it for Austin Eckler. That sucks. Non-contact. He was running a little flat route toward the sideline. Jayden Daniels took off. He's on the far sideline at the top of your screen, just at the line of scrimmage. He goes to come back to make a block, similar to Dre Greenlaw in the Super Bowl. Kind of, he's up, and then he sinks down real quick and goes to push off, and then you could just see that it just wasn't good. I don't know if it's going to be torn, but more than likely, yes. But that sucked. So there you go. I mean, take a look at the quick team stats. Like I said, man, You had Jordan Love throw for 292. He's 19 to 31, 2 touchdowns. Daniels was 24 42, 2 touchdowns for 200. The Commanders could not. I mean, there was a time where the Green Bay Packers, they could not stop the run. That is not the case anymore because the Commanders now ran for over 200 yards against the Giants last week. So the Packers were pretty even or pretty equally balanced. Jacobs had 84 yards rushing. I think they ran for over. Yeah, they ran for over 100. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they ran for 135. The Packers. So, but the Commanders had 15 first downs. The Packers had 22. Third down, they were about equal. 5 of 12 and 5 of 16. Total plays were the same. Total yards wasn't even close. The Commanders only had 230 total yards to Green Bay's 404. They had 11 drives for the Commanders, 12 for the Packers. Yards per play was 6.4 for the Packers, 3.5 for the Commanders. Passing 179 for that's weird because it said Jayden Daniels for 200, and then 269 for the Packers. That can't be right. So, and then rushing, the Commanders ran for 51 yards, and the Packers ran for 135. Like that was what I was like. If the Commanders can't run if there's no balance to the Commanders' offense and they have to go out there and try to sling it all over the yard, they're going to be in trouble. I thought they would have. The thing about it is they could have. Like they were only down a possession basically the entire time. Like they could have. I don't know why they didn't go toward the run. Use Debo. Use Eckler. Use Bill McCroskey Merritt or whatever that guy's name is. Bill Crosky Merritt. Like I thought for sure that like you could tell that they thought that they had to score quickly. But really the entire game they weren't down. I mean, it was only a one possession game for a while. Like it wasn't out of reach. I don't know what they were doing. They threw it 42 times. And they only rushed it. They only ran it 19. So I don't know. The Packers ran it 30 times. I mean, Commanders hardly even got into the red zone. Packers had a lot of penalties. So time of possession was 32-26 for the Packers and 27-34 for the Commanders. A lot of that was late in the game when the Commanders were eating stuff up. But I guess, I mean, hey, do we get credit for motivating Jordan Love because we called him out on Wednesday? Hey, show us something. That's what some are saying. But overall, you got to give the credit. You got to give the Packers credit. Got to give them credit. And the Commanders, there's a lot of talk on the internets of fraud alert and fraud watch and all this stuff. And I'm not there. Them being old and them not being able to, it was tough too for them because I think this is their second road game. But I think the Packers are going to be that team that stress you to make you feel like you have to score every time you get the ball because they can hold it forever on offense. Their defense is ferocious. They've got edge contain now without, somebody acting like an idiot and losing contain. I mean, that Jeff Hafley guy, that dude is the MVP so far of the league. Their defensive coordinator. So, but I mean, Jayden Reed went down and Romeo Dobbs stepped up. Dontavian Wicks stepped up. Malik Heath. So, Christian Watson, they'll get him back. So I don't know if that's enough firepower, but it seems like if the Packers are the team that gets the lead, they're going to do to you exactly what they did to the Commanders, which is stress you to make you think you've got to score now. Because if they get the lead, their defense can be super aggressive and they'll play really good with it. I'll be interested to see if they get behind. I think they've been out in front of the Lions pretty heavily earlier last week. And then this week too, they got out early. So, we'll see what happens. But I think they're going to be a team that wants to lead. That obviously every team wants to be in the lead. Like way to go, dude. Like everybody wants to be winning in football. Duh, of course. But I just think the Packers will stress you if they get out early on you. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, that's enough of me. I wanted to go over some of these next gen stats are pretty cool. Jordan Love finished 9 of 15 for 175 yards and both touchdowns against the Commanders' blitz. On throws of 10-plus air yards against the blitz, he was 6 of 8 for 144 yards and a touchdown, plus 10 of EPA. His 14.5 air yards per 10 was a career high mark. So he was eating the blitz alive. I mean, that's we haven't really seen him play a whole heck of a lot because he's been injured a lot. So, this was a good win for them. Micah Parsons generated a team-high 8 pressures and half sacks on 37 pass rushes, 21.6% in his second game of the pack. 6 of his pressures came in the second half. The Packers offense gained 140 yards on 10 plays, 14 yards per play, using nub formations against the Commanders. The 140 yards the most Packers have gained from nub formations in a single game in the Matt LaFleur era. Which is kind of impressive. That's it's an offensive alignment where the tight end it's positioned on the line of scrimmage and there's no receiver split out to his side of the field. That's what a nub formation is. It condenses the formation for a running threat on that tight end side. So basically the tight end is on the line of scrimmage and there's no receivers on his side of the football. That's what the nub formation is. And there you go with the Tucker Kraft. He caught 6-7 targets for 124 yards and a touchdown, a career high 74 yards after catch, over 19 yards over expected. He led all tight ends in 2024 with 9.6 yards after the catch per reception. So you're talking about they're going to put the receivers on one side on the nub formation, the tight end on the other. And they've got this dynamic multiple run game that can go lateral, it can go vertical. And then you're going to let, Tucker Kraft be a mismatch, people make fun of it, not make fun of it, they criticize the Packers wide receiver room, but it's a bunch of guys who, that's what I'm saying. Can they play catch up? You see what I'm saying? Do they have the horses to play catch up? Because if they're out in front, they can hit you with Josh Jacobs. They can multiple formation you to death and spread the ball around and just play keep away and take what they give you. Jordan Love will throw that ball downfield without a doubt. He is not afraid to throw it downfield. So it'll be interesting to see if the Packers, when they don't have a lead and they're down by 10 or something, and I'm not saying they will be, I'm interested. That'd be the next step to be like, oh, okay, let's see what they're working with. But anywho, that's it. I'm going to bed. This has been this is phenomenal. I love doing this so much. I love writing football notes down, and I love getting on here and talking to people about it. It's incredible. This is what it's all about. And we get a lot of comments on social medias and things like that. Like, oh, you guys you're not busting with the boys. You're not New Heights. No, we're not, dude. We didn't play professional. We played college football. We didn't play professional football. We didn't have things handed to us by being able to walk in and be like, hey, we're professional football players. So we get on here and we grind and write down notes and we just try to laugh. We just try to have a good time. Go follow us on that's what I'm saying, B. McCormick. You know what I'm saying? We don't have all the money and the bells and the whistles to just, oh, I'm done playing football. What am I going to do next? Like, oh, I'm Travis Kelce and Jason. And I'm not, but yeah, dude, we're not them. Like, we're just not them. So shout out to the guy who said that we're not them. We're not. You're right. Anyways, tomorrow night, we're going to be back with the College Football Pick'em Show. Last week, we were 7-8 in the College Football Pick'em Show. So tomorrow night, we will get on here and we will pick 15 games against the spread for college football in our contest. With the help of, if you're listening to the podcast and you want to check out the live show, you can if you want to help us pick these winners. But anyways, everybody have a great night. Tune in tomorrow night for all of our channels, our YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and then Saturday night it'll be me and Jay Bones again. We'll do an NFL pick'em. So we got 2 pick'em shows coming up, and then we'll do the whole gangs getting together on Sunday night to talk football. Anyways, Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the show. Hey, let's enjoy football. Enjoy your Friday. See you later, everybody.